abusia eye Farouk Al Wahab eye opani ba ko abusia oba Ghana hanu mu a sɛde asɛm no esida no ɛkwa na ɔde to na ensɛm a watoto ɛde amane eye Okudzeto Ablakwa any ministers ahodo abusia ɔmo ɛhwɛ eye ɔman yi so na abusia wɔse ɔmo nka no korɛ na ɔmo yɛ kontompofo kra kyesɛ Ghana enema ekoso nyinaa no ɔmo ɛmmo Ghana fo amane ɔmo de ahinta yɛ sɛ be a yehu niema abusia na wotie ensɛm ɛkɔso ba enya asɛm ketewa kra utum sɛ abufu a papa yi ɛde ababe kansɛm no enya asɛm ketewa obɛhwɛ ananwo de ye a ɛyɛ Ghana mpanifuo konya nkwanhyia ɛma emu nwɔtwe efiri mu na abusia ɔbabɔnten ɛbɛkyerɛkyerɛ niema mu ɛno akyi no ɔsan so de nsɛm ababetum abusia san nsɛm no ɛfa ɛyɛ Ghana ɛyɛ ye ministers especially foreign ministry nsɛm bi ɔmo de asie Ghana fo a ɔmo de ahinta no ɛyɛ opani kɛse Farouk ɛde nsɛm bi ni secret bi ababa beto abɔnten abusia yemompia na mra yenkweti bi ba yebeto aso ɛde amamo pepepe
ya nyi bi emfaso bia ya nkase ye de ketu akɔgye kɛse bia na wotwe awie ye enya ne ntie so ebia ba bedu afekura de ne eba ne sɛ 14 ni nyinaa medu yasa de bi kɔwɔ man mu ama ɔmalo yɛ sècrets sensiw ya ka ho fa ne enti a yesa de bi akɔwɔ nsɛm na yɛ bebree sɛ ba ne sɛ ɔman bi te sɛ USA sɛ nipa yi menye wɔn monsan monkɔ mo man mu anasa yɛ de mo kɔ ɔman bi mu a sɛ ɔman bi bɛgye wɔne a di aso no ogina ka sɛ yɛ de yɛ bɛgye saa nkrɔfo yi ɔpani
na menkyɛ na menkyɛ chiefo ɛmfa sɛ enya Ghana for nyina press conference ni nya akwantie bi ɛna journalist call on isn't he said mo call for ni bi sabi omo musta questions na was from buta but yes you better ya drink kakra said wa for me and he said America sabi yani wo mu no or the country Ukraine flag yes you cried here onchimi en show sa upu lejinkofobia kromo deportees omugu ya deportation center nti monjuomu na enwansa monjuomu enwan bibia nka ho I don't believe that it is like that but abambia wa ekwan of us cover the story and I say on person information bi oha or the beba and he said a day basis and Ghana enter into agreement with the United States of America. So Bakaya and check 2 months in an American government said countries are mobile and Ghana come. You know more visa, 5 years visa crown or much for the started Ghana 2 months ago and honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa or the committee chairman on foreign affairs and a State Department or America in your brush. Diplomatic brush. Our car said, Ghana on port no country, Ghana government said, American for companies and a car ye de company in Chumka. Now we jay say all by America, Ababeris Abekika, Sabi, Ebia, visa sem. Or one no, and the 2 weeks, and America for a started say, Ubia Yama 5 years visa Bia Ukuma be a free neck or the country do count. The reasons that America for the count, part of the reasons was said. So the deportees at the back, now one year, or be severe or no visa relations, Obama visa restrictions, or better visa or demands, or things so no number of years of visa or demand, or better so for 25 years ago, and American president then I think Bush about 2 more 5 years visa, but. And say be and me say we will create to American in some discussions. And the name me share me say it be one of the discussions on the table. Na say G woman maybe ya did better relations and once with regards to the visa troubles because affecting senior officials of government will be because you will be free. And now if you say no, name just try to get ya the nipa 14 bremo ya the mu go fi free mu do ma ba monji wo na ya say ya mai bibia okay skata montonchen what next ukoji wo mu baye e dem rana na da ya yet time take ni bi Ghana up to today of course and it was 2015 or there about His Excellency President Mama regime at that time and Roger Gitmo 2
no 2016
there about
2016
and the Gitmo 2 me no ka say Gitmo 2 no obi anfa na ni ehu sankofo ni and obi ato anche ba bia omoda and obi anche ba bia omoda and the prison bia no ha do mo to ye enti ye do ko hin so odo ba Gitmo 2 for instance odumba statelet the Gongopon ba ku ye Yemenis ba ku ye Saudi Arabian ye do nkonko so min free ho and the government of that country says who free ho so what dimenjo and the Ghana didn't buy no you can't render anybody a wajin whole country stateless no and even though they get more some of us raise the issue say the only way Ghana to me you must have either honorary citizenship on the person are given to the person, accepted, and now say woman nationality upon arrival. And yet immigration records what the blank sheet and the paper tasso anything the country nationality unidentified. And our G1 and government and then the opposition of the day at the time, parliamentarians at the time, Obian to me say, okay, I do humanitarian reasons, nationality, status ban on the war. As we speak, I presume so me a Ghana for. In the same way, Oma would do Mubano. Yenya Timakasi be a Liberia for, be a Nigeria for, be a Togo for near that day. That's okay. You're an ECOWAS bloc member, founding member of ECOWAS, and a Ghana to your pro-independence, freedom and justice. It is said, I say, or what the other African countries, what sub-region now. I'm looking at two things. One, United States of America. So Ogobi Konituma, they don't do transiting. They don't transit passengers. Let us listeners, anyone can say, Yinti America won't transit deportee because for fear of whatever could happen through the transit center. And he said, so ordinary for American or the neighbor. So they New York Deportation Center. We don't know if we be a feel like they are not New Jersey. And now what about do mobile? That is how it is. Or they look for flight on funding for Germany. Or let transit to Europe and see obesity political asylum. What do you mean for them? Or didn't see Holland, Amsterdam airport, then you find Pajan and such on American Timmy Deportation. No about the burden of Holland government. Flight in the buy Holland government better charge about 5,000 euros. And Sana, Nipan will be asylum, like I say, a treaty problem. Or the Nipa Belgium are the same thing. The America, for now, may suspect is only and is there. The Nipan 14 to move private jetting. The Nipan 14 or do move bar, or to move from play back commercial jets and from Mukwamba direct to Accra. And one to make that, or the top our West African airport, 86 citizens in England. And maybe another dream will minimum say, one, or non-stop flight from New York to Accra Delta. 1, 2, or non-stop flight from Washington to Accra, and also or non-stop. And you do any say, or Ghana be a can what them say, okay, your flight to Madaret, only a ECOWAS citizen, made the moment blow. Now, bar, transfer them. In this case, is a deportation in transit, which is accepted and done by every country. Deportation in transit, home ticket, home the American government and they take it. And they all know American plane and whatever. And the Nipa no do more one for Nipa 14. They will sit at the last end of the flight. Last end of the flight and on do better. American agents do mobile, either FBI or Secret Services or American National Guard for the Gomba. Only other passengers, no mama, one line or two lines, or matter pretty, or be anti-sexy so that they keep them at bay at the back of the aircraft. Now, flight limits here, not Ghana authorities, immigration, police, any other national security for. Oma Kwaku share flight, and there and they said, all passengers no aircraft now will be able to form. na babeka 14 na omgomba no achi na national authorities akohia wo mu na mebisa say at the time national authorities ekohia American authorities na omgomba no agents no one the first thing they exchange so no more passports the passports are given to the pilot passports are given to the pilot. Now US agent no do full flighting. Akon the pilot one waje passports no. Algeria, the first Ghana migration officer. When the crap passport on the first Ghana migration officer for certification. Certification need to count the number of people, any documents of their man. Paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, 4 immigration for the magic in you. Now I'm going now, but some of them no, they do not their handcuffs. And that is where the catch. See the problem here. America for the truth will be handcuffs now. Some of them will couple with them, some of them will decide to free flight in the so. Until they handcuff them and give them to Ghana. Not Ghana so home. Until me besides the Okudzeto International Airport. Have we noticed say Nipa 14 no ye UMP more divine a quan ben your tax in UMP obi here and I receive more time in the so. That one entonche. Nationalities na omgomba ye no. Liberia ni, Nigeria ni, Togo ni, Burkina ni. Se na ya ade se de ye kan no dia. Na me hwe ani mu senka Mr. Okudzeto be kan so se. Ye kiro chia wo mu no. Why Nigeria ni? Ye man onward transfer. In that case, in Ghana, Nigeria, America for the next week, take it say. You a Virgin Echo, you Aska Echo, and you are Ghana fly our Echo. In Kinko from airport, in your don't go transit. You will be out on a Ghana, you know, woman, and a Ghana for woman. Yama woman entry. Now, crime Bennett, you remember. Nowadays, but drugs related crime. And I know what double American prison and American church on for ordinary Banukuma. And Ghana authorities, this question say, you man have a 20 jail sentence. So, name mom say, yes, sir, a immigration related issue. Just say, the visa who and now when you paper and I know the deportation center and you're by any crime. And 20 men, you know, said you're reading, sir. Yes, I see woman. You go do a military bit, and now you go back. So what change not adding to? Now you just only not something. Now bother on drugs. You can't keep the person to humanitarian. Now you see a doing what you treated the purpose. It is a lawyer be sorry. No coco Ghana court say and conform be a macho against your right. They are right. You cannot arrest me and hold me if mere purpose of a deportation on. One, immigration status. Now the map by third country and a second country say on Jimmy non-transfer and come country. That country no Gina would Jimmy Fanuko baby because when yes it's part of a refugee no acceptance in Ghana sign be. And the would ya here yeah. Miss Okudzeto say. And I don't think that journalist would say.
Miss Wahab nature say no na kofa court on Semo Bemu say nipa nemu 11. Lawyers the omayi court because he had the 3 pokwama 3 no one is saying so no the country I will free money enti oko US no na ye persecute no for say oka LBGT community no ho na Nigerian ba so story odiko sani e nyina ye nim so omudiko di aduro no and then one Nigeria to Nigerian so dia wo kan say ono so na entokwa bi wo ho no mo ama police for bo na and he was warned say any day you obesi ho no omo bebo na ku no.
Thank you.
Eti ono so ye de ne konti we nyina no ne ye tie say lawyers say omo de omayi court no yetimi de court say ne wo ken
but omo ye allowed 100%. Now say mbi mo campaign for my cancer intimi information so what they know what dia you must grant them one status. Into my visa question is you do my airport and first day he no die. They only look at 2 hotel and a hotel fee and a hotel and a journey and a man car grant transportation, accommodation, feeding, and then also pocket money called the active fee. So the sign your mind dear. Now me church say you see can you be a there and you my document. You are inbound, inland. Online Ghanaian call them refugee or deportees inland or free north and now through Kumasi about Winya Baby or Dabontin. Kiampan Koma Wumu. But the Jomo national status say you're a Ghana, you're an ECOWAS member. American for non-flight because Mr. Okudzeto and Ghana from paying for. Obiano did that version about June because of the American non-stop flight because ECOWAS in England, Ghana and the US didn't flight in the look non-stop. In what airport and what aviation system and what your migration authorities. Your mom can't ask them. And when say it is a humanitarian, you can take some of us have been a translator with the mission. So we know what is called humanitarian. So what it means you will be asylum seeker deported on basis we seek asylum our third country. And at third country and granting asylum. No deporting about second country. So what people saw Virginia means you are granting the person status of asylum. You are granting automatically status of the asylum because you apply asylum or America. So we LGBTQ plus advocate and Yapanacheno. America for Anjiantum because there is no basis, there is no confirmation. And they didn't go back to the country. Only if any Pabakuna to flight to end transit. According say Trump said the American government is ordinary Europe and Nipan basic asylum. And a person punish you, so won't conquer Europe because it's a good destination into a local African country. What do you call African country there? Then I'm saying that it is incumbent by the UN Charter, the Refugee Charter, UNHCR, all the regulations, Ghana, Bibian. You can't take the person our land or your restriction, asylum status, oh baby. No country, no, then a immigrant state. The immigrant state, America is an immigrant state, Canada is immigrant state, UK is immigrant state, Australia is immigrant state. Of these immigrant states, which US is one of the father laws of immigrant states, no one will deporting a refugee while accepting asylum status. Why accepting an asylum application? Not in a brow as a third world or second country. Now, Gina, when Timmy said the panel and country and say, when one swagino or some Nigerian, and Tinuano, Bionoko. Uncle Dahi, Uncle Jahi, Uncle Didi. So when you sign your man there, you might as well not have received, accepted them, give them back to the person or the country that brought them. And something that issue in war. Because the country, you know, Martin himself, we did article from Baka or Wamawo. I was saying, even bringing them to the court, or no represent too much a human rights lawyer. And these are some of the things that some of us want to be involved. Because what the name, but one for the judge is not hearing what is bringing them. How they were even transported into the country is also questionable. Yes, your father Christmas, that's okay. Ghana is noted for that. Nipana would treatment by the Dima. Liberia for Quadrum, Cryantman Shumani, and a voluntary repatriation, women are voluntary repatriation. Women are deported. Deported means that either in their handcuff or forcibly deporting them against their wish and their will. And it is a China. Nipane brain ya deneba, who shouldn't mean China say, what the narco police cells. That is completely wrong. And the country should come clean. And surprisingly said, like I said, yes, a parliament. Yes, indeed. This issue, Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa said, it was not for parliamentary administrative. What does that mean? Administrative meaning said it is the presidency where the decision was made possible, with him, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, at the middle with the president, and agreed. This is it. So if it is administrative there, then go and tell me. Come and tell me and tell you and tell Ghanaian listeners, say, is it against the Foreign Affairs budget? Is it against Ministry of Interior budget? Is it against NADMO? And now say Ghana Prison Service and now Ghana Fire Service Ghana Fire Service or budget. What budget are we going to use to take care of them? I hit now do more question. What is the man in fact in Babu Ashobaka just one tina? Banoko up lavish please. We go how the amano and one watch cantonments. I said many about question. If they want to cantonments. Who could get that man so we deported? I had no be you have a pampa no so met my airport. You know I'm here because I'm in the airport. And what exactly is the country doing with the U.S. deportees? Much as I agree, sir, America will not do transit deportation. They don't do it.
Yentumi mfo omo nkotena baabi fa kote se kane se ne enim Liberia na yesi wo ho yese ye nekora ye daso wo Liberia camp wo mayimu no we ne ntesa waka bibi se gitimotu yi enne yemfa ye nimhu wo beto ne so onma wade Ghana ha wuwo so otehin ye hu nti se wogi ahoho bi se ya wuntumi meto wasawra me wo mayimu baabi obetena ne ye obedi sa ne mani nyina no you must cater for country awobeji omono sa na tie
exactly chese I mean sure bibi in the case of Gitmotu America fortified prisons of the whole entire United States. There be no American government in Ukraine. One woman to prison on land. Although to Gitmo Guantanamo near only Cuba border ensuring the prison war. Why did Obama break it down? Why did he close it down? Because that prisoners were classified highly risk. War front of American Union, Iraq and Afghanistan and other places, and Kuwait fighting. What is it? Baby helicopter. They fly over the machines, over the prison. A day, cost America almost 500,000 a day, dollars a day, taking care of Guantanamo prisoners. And Obama said. The huge cost now are costume and a man guru and was started with Bloomberg country. But woman declare home country say free hand. Only the stateless ones, A higher Bloomberg, Ghana once, me say country your president Okudzeto swear oath of allegiance, or swear oath of secrecy. And also an oath of office in Manema. Your oath of secrecy, is that what we took? Is that what we exercise? How come by the country has not been able to tell? That we don't bank or that's why highly criminal and America focus on intimidation now. The bio network in America for Jinaso. So only Al-Qaeda, only Daesh, only ISIS, only Ansawa, only this kind of prisoners now, only rebels, terrorists, And it's about to come and when we have the same network, and when we have our problem, Libya, what would have happened? But country in woman go by no, almost having a peace solid in the country in this uncle for one way. Yes, we know, or some people know say, Yamo, we know, and today the crowd were done any. Now, we have better Kuma, Nigeria, only ECOWAS in the Western Kumaya 20-25 years. Ghana does not give her citizenship just like that. It's one of the countries in Africa with very difficult of issuance of the citizenship. Edema Ubi. They don't do that. And to get more for a woman day. And it's our cover will swap also on Nigeria, where you wanted in Tinukusi asylum, Okosiki asylum. So Okosiki asylum, non America first one G to more than a bar. One agents on the bar, you must grant them asylum. You can't deport them. You can't keep them also in your cells. It is against international law. It's against the UNHCR law and all the chapters signed so far. So what do you mean Kochi will be an asylum seeker? We are deported in a second world country, a second receiving country. Oh, to the worst chapter will such a Sanya Manate. Now it's also did not go to sell. Wow, for Nanka court. Lawyer Janata, who are they? Where are they? What are we talking about? But at least from the 40, this is over. Ghana must be very careful with how we handle some of these things. Much as we have good rapport with America, we support say, only ECOWAS, no problem. But we must have a valid agreement, say, we are transfer passengers. Transfer in transit into the airport, they will be transited to their country. Inland those Ghanaians among them, you release them to the family. Then South is done everywhere. When even what you will be from American prison, then I won't change the final corner American prison. One was done New York prison, one at that Washington prison, one at that Philadelphia prison. Now they never go to Sawama better. Do you think they are stupid? Because when you jump cop, what did you 4 times a day, what did you 5 times a day, a draw up and run them, you're showing you out. And so how far you are your prisoners? Answer for how far you have your business. Accra, how far in James Fort, you share business. And two continue the number 2 prison. What humanitarian are you granting? You can be a humanitarian country granting accepting deportees. No, China knows how to sell. What kind of international practices is that?
Nature say anhwe ya Mr. Al Wahab ye betumi anya problem wo sa papa ye we hu say ye see akwaji nipa ne ye behwe omo na se omo charge omo boye ne se omo de bedu ye omo de yakwa akogum omo ka so omo je ye na afi omo asade ye ko enti se eba international community no kura se international court kura no a ya anhwe ye besa akwaji manso abeto ye ho so wo asem we hu.
Say yeah, again say anyone say be obi a ho ache whoever is already on the ground on floor no, you are not afraid to fall. One no say be ebi ni ho and ebusioni bi enu say be awo machi aso ode ne ko. But the point is say there were UN rep e wa Accra. Say Oliver Jomao and I say women lawyers here. They should rush to UN rep in Accra. I want a petition no. Let's show you know because Shiraj is still in use Ghana court. What do you go against what the government has done? Uncle UN rep. Non-co represent, uncle petition with UN rep. So these are refugees. These are people who have seen political asylum and etc. Nobody wants to know. From America. America deport from Ghana. Ghana has arrested them and keeping them in American jail. And it's a serious issue. We don't do that. And we are all here. We understand it. We've been translators for several years with some of the world missions. And you said they are in here, Juma. Liberia refugees by how cross over border. They're Roma Kotu. Yenny refugees on cross to Cote d'Ivoire, 13,000. Arguably, we are trying to count how many of them. Cote d'Ivoire, Roma Kotu prison. Madam Pachawat is a Cote d'Ivoire, Biniri, to prison.
Oh, and Rakra, a minority fue, ranking member, deputy, echo honomo, ya chese baby, ya do a more chinakra, no se contractor be, chese apartments, I will see the man, the workers, and where you are more free 1 year, dear more, honomo, asha, a whole year, only saying Siona now, Sibini or but, dino mutim need a video editor, munetches a whole yara.
Cote d'Ivoire on the
was it?
And just in a Cote d'Ivoire for them, Chumo, or man for Manco. Ghana, Burkina for a cross by her, no Burkina problem about it. Yet you may room quite. It's the same thing. It is under the international status refugee law. Which means you will be our journey, the afternoon, where the youngest will move America, Samenjo, UFO, which America say, I cannot begrudge and I cannot speak against that by the practice of the US. An international country. Your friend is soft bargaining spot. Was soft bargaining with Ghana. All Jimmy Koka in UK, British for share Ebina. Woman British also say you call your friend Rwanda. So no British deportees. How do they even respect it? British deportees. No, only there or so. That's how the British did. They were going to pay and they were prepared to pay to the Rwandese government. So for Kagame and create a safe haven. British government they found one control airport say one chiwomu for Kagame chiwomu there be almost crew and what makeshift apartments at the room. And it is anybody said on person of Nigeria for fear of Serbia imprisonment and Liberia for fear of imprisonment. And the occurrence of Rwanda no Yabida eventually nipa or survival. That does not mean to almost sorry to because seek asylum no. Sebi Nina Kroma Ghana has it will seek political asylum than any other country in the history of Africa as far as Europe is concerned. But here in political asylum status is very many. You need a civil war. Woman who seek asylum during Rollins time, no. How many of them? Not two, not three, no more than 200 people in an area. But none of your grantee women, Nigerians, your friend is the Germans, they took more than 60% of Ghanaian refugees across Europe. I'm over Johnny, I'm a woman in the palm of Ghana. Women I see them in whom you didn't them. Women are actually almost all the new sites in Ghana. Germany and Holland, France and Belgium, these four countries, Ghana and the developmental agenda. In terms of housing, Mumu says the Ghana for it will be outside Germany that one and a drew dear and what they drew papa. And sorry, it will be any Sebi, a woman, America for Drumubano. I am sorry, your friend, economic refugees. But Nippon man in South Sudan be economic refugee. Only some few countries of the world, and Tokwaho, Syria or now Canada, was a Mefa Syrian refugees. Americans are to German folk or Lebanon, and only there and we economic refugee arising out of a war. Ghana nya will be our ha. But you seek asylum, and then Ghana for UK. So I even include America, be added to Nayasabi, or the first year in Qatar, wagging a passport. Once one nationalize it, one formalize it, in citizenship, in the status. Normal. It's how the name about the general. Okay, Papa. Okay, now what place my gamer. So I identify to Nigeria. I think wish somebody can get reach my to me. Almost from Nigeria embassy. But Liberia and call Liberia embassy. I know so much mean. So also a Liberian there or a Rapwa or Liberia embassy. And then I'm from Liberia embassy. So also a Chadian there. Farouk Charge embassy. Where Nigeria, Farouk Nigeria embassy. You don't go and keep them in a cell. You don't go and keep them in the military base. Naturally, we look up water. Most man for woman. Are their limbs and their legs broken? No. Let's do the right thing.
Mr. Wahab, anopay medawase papa na mede wasi eneso ebia yedase.
Na menka ho hema.
Onka so ho. Abusia ene a uti ye Owura Farouk Al Wahab ne no atwetwen enkomo no.